So just got these Velux solar blinds fitted on my window. You can see them here, and they're controlled by this remote that makes them go down, stop, and up. So the problem with these remotes is that they work with something called Velux Active or IO Home Control, and there's not much you can do to integrate this with something like Home Assistant. That said, if we open it up, we can solder some wires to it and integrate it in Home Assistant with an ESP board. So let's do that. Alright, we need to wire up this board, but first of all we need to know what all these connection points are. Here's the remote. It's got an up, stop and down. And so let's see if we can figure out what's what. So that's all of these. We can test all of them. Don't do this at home, but there's no batteries in here, so it should be fine. But you can see that all of these are doing nothing. We don't hear any sound from the multimeter. But when I test these, I'll just run my... we got one here at the end, and also this one. So now we know which one's which. So what should be possible, if we press the button on the back side and then run, do a continuity test between here and here, we should find out that this button actually beeps, same for the stop and same for the down. So we're going to solder wires to these, and then also solder a wire to the positive terminal here and the negative terminal here, so that we can provide the 3 volts from the ESP board directly to this board. So here we have the ESP board, and as you can see on here we have a where's the 3 volt? The 3 volt pin is here, so we'll take power from there, and then we have a ground here, so we can take the ground from there, and then we've got the data pins for the data that we want to connect from here to up, stop and down, and then that will let the ESP board control the Velux controller. Okay, so we've got this all set up now, and as you can see here, we have all the wiring done. I tried to get it all to come through the battery compartment. I'll have to undo these in a minute so I can fit the back of the case on, but the idea is it come through here, and then on the very back it will slide over this part here and then pop through one of these 2 mounting holes. So once it's all finished, you'll just have the wires coming, maybe 2 out of here and 3 out of here, and then I'll make a separate enclosure for the ESP32, which kind of just sits next to this, and maybe the whole thing can just be mounted in my network cabinet. It works from 2 floors away, so no real issue about keeping this close to the actual unit. Now, the black wire going into the ground here, we've got the blue wire going into up, the orange wire going into stop, and the brown wire going into down. The label's here, you can't see it. And then we've got the red wire going into power. So you'll notice this is running without batteries, and all the power is coming from here. So we've got a 3 volt coming down the red line. The black is ground, orange is, I think, port 13, because it's the middle one, it's stop, port 14 is up, and 12 is down. And this now actually works perfectly well, so we'll go upstairs and give it a try, and you'll be able to see us control. I'll leave this setup down here, and then you'll see the controlling of the blinds via Home Assistant upstairs. Let's go have a look. Now we have the blinds included in Home Assistant, so now you can say blinds up, and the blinds now go up. You can do a stop, and they stop where they are, pretty snappy, and down. And again, you can do a stop and move them up. Alright, let's get this tidied up and closed. So let's put all of these wires through here. In there. It's a little bit chunky up here where the wires are, but I think that's okay, because now this can go through the back of the case. So this is the case, and the idea is when this goes on here, the wires will come out of here. So let's open these up. I have opened this up and it should let the wires through. So what you're looking for is for these two to match up, and then it should just clip together if you pull the wires enough. Okay, it doesn't really want to stay shut. So I actually managed to get the whole unit to close flush all the way around. So it's basically a stock unit now, with the exception of these wires coming out that you can then connect to the ESP board, which is kind of cool. So how did I do this? Well, remember, this is how it connects together. Just push and open at the bottom of each side here. I always struggle with this, and then you can see the wires that come out. Now what I did is, remember I had the wires in the back plate, just pass them through this gap here. So I had the wires in the back plate here, and passed them through this gap when I put the back plate on, and I made a new hole here which lines up with the hole on the back plate here. And as you can see, it shuts all the way around, all the clips are in place, and this one just clips back. And what's cool is you never really need to open this again, because that's it, it's closed. Nice and secure. And you never need to open it again because it doesn't need batteries anymore, because it gets its 3 volts from the ESP board itself, which is over here. So there we go.
And that's it. So that's how you connect your Velux remote to Home Assistant. If you want more information about how to actually do the programming of ESPHome on the ESP32 and connecting it to Home Assistant, take a look at the blog post that's down in the description. And thanks for watching.